Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are at the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington, Pennsylvania. The museum traces its roots back to the 1950s when a group of electric railway enthusiasts acquired 3 streetcars from the Pittsburgh area. It has since grown to house over 50 streetcars from across Pennsylvania and beyond. From Pittsburgh PCCs to Philly High-Speed Suburban cars to a Cinncinati High-floor to a Rio de Janeiro open-air car, the museum provides visitors a look into the golden age of travel by trolleys. Not only is their collection immense with history, but a full ride on their railroad is a 4-mile round trip, giving the true interurban railway ride experience. Additionally, the museum opened a new visitor center adjacent to its trolley display building with a wonderfully constructed streetscape with the trolleys running through it. Fittingly named Volunteer Boulevard, it overall truly provides a unique experience not many trolley museums offer currently. The specific day I visited was during their annual county fair park and ride operation, in which the museum provides 12 hours of park and ride shuttle service between the museum's parking lots and the Washington County Fairground. This in turn provides a unique opportunity to witness these old street railway vehicles truly doing what they were built to do, shuttling passengers from point A to point B. On top of that, for the Railfans, it provides a nice game of how many of the museum's operational cars can we ride today. So join us as we go to the fair on a trolley. We start our day at the east campus of the museum at the newly opened visitor center along Volunteer Boulevard. Volunteer Boulevard represents, in large, your typical environment of a small city street setting with a trolley line running through it. Literally across the street from the visitor center is the trolley display building where most of the museum's collection of streetcars is housed. Unfortunately, I did not get much, if any, video of the TDB, but got a couple photos. Now let's take a ride to the museum's west campus. We are on board Rio de Janeiro car number 1758, built in 1911. 1758 is an example of a J.G. Brill open car design built in Brazil. While open cars in the US went out of use in the 1920s, Rio would continue to use open cars into the 1960s. These cars were popular for those looking to catch a breeze on a summer evening in the city. In 1965, a joint venture was formed to bring some of these cars to the US for preservation, resulting in 13 of these cars being shipped to US soil. 1758 would be purchased and operated by the McGee Transportation Museum in Bloomsburg, PA, until that museum's untimely closure due to extensive damage from Hurricane Agnes in 1972. It would become a hobby shop prop in Florida before coming under the ownership of the city of Orlando in 1990 to be used for a streetcar line that never came to fruition. In 2006, it returned to Pennsylvania for operation at PTM. We have now arrived at the museum's west campus. On site are the museum's maintenance and restoration shop and the founder's car barn. An ongoing project in the shop includes Philadelphia Suburban Transportation Company, better known as Red Arrow Lines, number 73. 73 was built in 1926 as a part of the final order of center entrance steel suburban cars of the Red Arrow's 32-car center door fleet. Retained for charter and work service, it was declared surplus by SEPTA, acquired by PTM in 1990, and is currently undergoing restoration. Upon completion, it will be used alongside sister car number 66. Back outside, cars continue to shuttle passengers to and from, making stops at the West Campus. Here we see Philadelphia Suburban Transportation Company number 14 service the stop. 14 is one of 2 streamlined suburban cars built by the St. Louis Car Company that PTM has in its collection. More on it later. Pittsburgh Railway Company 1711 now arrives. 1711 was built in 1949 by the St. Louis Car Company as part of the last order of PCC cars for Pittsburgh Railways and was the last revenue car to operate between Washington, Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh. Cars 1700 through 1724 would be fitted with a package shelf in place of the first seat behind the operator, a ticket printer, an emergency toolkit, a spare trolley pole secured to the roof, and a roof-mounted headlight. Reason being is for operations on PR Co's long interurban lines. The car would be retired in 1989 and acquired from the Pittsburgh Port Authority in 1990, and was generously restored inside and out before finally calling home at the museum. Just east of the Founders Car Barn switch is a passing siding known on the timetable as County Home. The siding has been around since the days of the Washington Interurban Line, and as if it were still the early 1950s, 1711 departs eastbound heading through the siding. Coming west out of the siding is Pittsburgh Railway's 1138. Built in 1937, 1138 would be one of 201 early first-generation PCC streetcars delivered to PRCO. It would be acquired by the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in 1961 and officially enter service in 2024 after an extensive electrical overhaul. We are now aboard Philadelphia Suburban Transportation Company number 14 as we continue west along the railroad, arriving at the Washington County Fairgrounds. The fairgrounds date back to 1911 when the Washington Fair Association, with $40,000 collected from 800 shareholders, purchased 100 acres of land in Arden, Pennsylvania. This year, the county fair was on its 226th year of exhibition. In 1979, construction of PTM's Arden Valley extension began, including a station at the fairground entrance. In 2019, the current platform was constructed and is a major improvement from the original. Continuing up the Arden Valley, our motorman opens up 14 as we fly up the valley. 14 was built as part of an order of 14 multiple-unit streamlined rail cars. Nicknamed Louis, these cars bear a few similarities with PCCs in that the bodies of both are identical, with PCCs being only single-ended. PTM acquired the car in 1982 and finished its restoration in 2004, returning it to service. The line going up the valley never was in fact a trolley line. It was a branch line of the Pennsylvania Railroad serving the mines north of Arden and was abandoned prior to 1930. The relative straightness of the line here allows museum visitors to experience what it would have been like riding interurbans back in the day. We have reached the westernmost point of the ride, Arden Mines Loop. Not far from here is the small community of Arden Mines. A platform was constructed here not only to allow passengers to watch the cars go around the loop, but also for residents of Arden Mines to catch inbound cars to the fairgrounds. Now let's watch cars travel through here for a bit. After some trolley spotting at Arden Loop, we headed back to Volunteer Boulevard at the East Museum campus to watch more cars. grabbing a quick bite to eat, we headed back up the valley on Rio 1758 to do more trolley spotting at Arden Loop. After catching a couple cars, we catch inbound car 2227 of the Cincinnati Street Railways. Built in 1919 and deaccessioned with the abandonment of Cincinnati's streetcar network in 1951, the car would change hands of ownership and preservation before finally calling PTM its home in 2009. Cincinnati was interesting in that they ran electric current back into one of two overhead wires, requiring two trolley poles on their streetcar as opposed to one similar to trolley buses. Trolleys in most of the world use the rail as a return path for the collected electrical current. However, this couldn't be done in Cincinnati. The short version of the story goes that a city engineer ordered the company not to tear up any portion of recently resurfaced streets for a period of 5 years, preventing the installation of rail bonds for grounding of electricity and conduction of current through the track. We now head back east to Fairgrounds Station to set up to take video of cars serving the station. It's all downgrade, and our operator lets the 2227 coast down the valley. Once we arrive, we soak in the setting summer sun as we watch cars do what they were built to do decades ago: carry commuters from point A to point B. Special thanks to PTM Executive Director Scott Becker, as well as Ohio Valley Railfan for showing me and my brother around the museum, as well as all the staff present that day for allowing the public to truly experience what a trolley ride to the fair is like.